Hey, did you know that Wilbo has Mel World record?
I did not know that.
Just casual reminder. Um,
Just remind everybody in the chat. Portal Stories Mel, one of the best mods for the game for like an entire story. You know, you've got Portal Stories Mel, and then sometimes what is it? Aperture Tag are two of the most common.
uh, yeah, I think Lizard is a does container ride save most of the time, given that he just started his timer at 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. He's handicapping himself in
Yeah,
order
he's
to win against Xinera.
handicapping.
But we can do the opposite of whatever we do with Container Ride. Instead of adding
Yes.
441, we can just subtract it. So it shouldn't be a huge deal. We'll just have to keep that in mind while we're commentating
Yep.
to make sure that we don't pay too much attention to the live
Well, that
scores.
isn't too difficult.
Yeah, mental math keeps us on our toes. Xanera with a nice mod in game. I think they said to be kind of conservative with how much you mod your game textures, but so long as it doesn't really impact how you run the game,
Mhm.
it's not a big deal. If you have a you know fancy carpet or whatnot. Uh,
Sorry, I'm
yeah, so it looks like Lizard Rockets has a waffle texture on Wheatley.
Very nice, very nice. I saw someone's pizza Wheatley a couple weeks back,
Ah,
and I have that picture still saved, um, because I think it's extremely funny.
was it by any chance that pizza guy?
No, I think it was Dane actually,
Oh, Dane of
the
Dane
legend
Skip fame.
himself, Dane of Dane Skip fame.
Yeah, one of the largest skips in this game.
Hmm.
Well, one of the largest new skips in this game.
Yes, new
There's
skips.
a lot of old skips that save massive amounts of time, but
We'll
we'll,
get
we'll
to
talk
those.
about Dane Skip in a couple chapters.
When we get to Dane Skip, we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about
for,
Dane
for
Skip.
now, maybe we should talk about like movement mechanics in this game for newer people, maybe.
I'll get to that in a second. I'd just like to note Lizard Rockets has been mashing his scroll wheel for the past minute and a half, um, in hopes of very possibly getting that vocal trigger a second
Yeah,
sooner.
get that frame perfect, you know, jump.
Yeah. So
But
while we are at around 2.5 minutes left in this scripted sequence here, um, I wanted to take a little bit to talk about bunny hopping. You'll see Lizard doing it up and down his container right now. Xinera also doing it because what else are you gonna do? I mean, kind of trapped in this room for 3 minutes. Um, but it is essentially if you walk forward, you like just normally. You have a base speed of about 175, and if you start turning, that speed goes up a little bit. If you jump and turn at the same time, that speed is conserved. And if you jump as soon as you hit the ground, you can keep that speed going through another turn. And if you turn the other way, you can actually go in a straight line. You'll notice it being employed at virtually every second of this run, because it provides you with speeds very, very much more than
yeah,
175.
yeah. I know Valve in their games likes to find ways to cap forward momentum,
Mhm.
and so we always seem to find some way to we always seem to find some way to
Get around it.
abuse the game mechanics.
Yeah.
In earlier versions of the source engine, we're able to abuse running backwards in
Oh
order
yeah.
to avoid that. But in this game specifically, bunny hopping is the fastest method of movement across like a normal like surface.
Mhm.
You can get into more niche things like wall strafing and such, but just as you're moving across the map, typically what you want to do is learn how to bunny hop. It really is a much faster
Yeah,
mechanism
it
there.
really helps the run in general. Um, at this point, if you were looking at Lizard Rocket's timer, please don't, because it's really not the optimal timer. But Xenares isn't either because he's been pausing. Regardless, at about 10 minutes, you're gonna start finishing chapter 1. You'll notice Lizard going for the toilet swoosh around here.
Yeah,
Um,
this is one of the most important uh, one of the most important aspects of the game. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
it's like lore for speedrunners. You know, you have to hit the toilet swoosh.
It's a form of RNG manipulation if you look at it long enough.
Of course. So
Xinera, of
this is
course,
just
getting caught in
an.
that rebar.
It's I think Xinera said earlier that he had to pause his game in order to stop it from uh, recording RTA real time, which means it's counting the loads between his splits. So he had to go
Mm.
fix that real quick, and then of course Lizard Rockets is going to be quite a bit um, quite a bit behind because of one method we do for running this game outside of tournaments is called container ride skip, where we just load the game at a point past all of the really boring cutscenes, and we just add the time on. So it looks like Lizard Rockets had that time adding on automatically, even though he didn't actually skip container ride. So on my stream right now, he's in Portal Carousel, a really standard map to run in single segment. It just involves hitting the buttons and playing it basically intentionally, aside from
Uh-huh.
faster movement methods.
And we were talking earlier about Xinera modding his textures a little bit. I've always been a fan of anyone using custom doors,
Hmm.
um, which you'll be able to see again throughout the run. He just has the very, very sad man. Um, you'll notice at the end of Portal Carousel specifically, um, Lizard Rockets just did this, and I was talking about Xinera, so I didn't have the time to explain. But he's going to wait in front of the elevator here for optimization reasons. If you just jumped into the elevator, there's a space of time. Sometimes it's like 2 seconds, sometimes it's like 12, depending on how fast the elevator actually is. Um, um, where there are load triggers at certain points in the elevator shaft, and if you get a vocal lined up with that load trigger, it's really really optimal for the run. It If you don't get it right, like if you fix it in your run, it can save like upwards of 30-45 seconds.
Yeah. And what you can see Lizard Rockets trying to do right now is another form of dialogue skip. If you jump down from that ledge at just the right time, you can get Wheatley to interrupt the announcer's first line of dialogue, skipping him straight to the last one, which makes the loading into the next chamber significantly faster. So that's why he's loading his save quickly. For those of you who don't know the run category we're in right now, it's no SLA, which is a save load abuse, correct?
Hmm.
So that just means that you're allowed to use save loads, but you're not allowed to use them to abuse the game mechanics.
You can't wrong warp. It's not allowed.
Yeah, yeah, or with certain clips that involve save loading. But you can use it like before a hard trick that's pretty inconsistent, or one that you're just not all that experienced with.
Hmm.
Oh, see, Lizard Rocket's missing the portal on.
Xanera did too.
Ah, yeah. Well, this is a fun map because it
Yeah.
involves pushing the cube through the door. There's a way to get it through the door without like pushing it through the door in a weird way. So the game is set up to open the door in case you mess up the map. You know, because they don't want players to get soft locked. So there's
Mm.
a couple instances in the game where it actively looks for you to soft lock the game, and it'll unsoft lock it for you. And so I think this is the only instance where it saves time to put yourself in that scenario. I know there's one in Ricochet and in Turret Walker.
In Ricochet, originally that was my original strat, was using the soft lock mechanism, and then I realized after about 2 or 3 runs of using the whole soft lock thing, I realized to get to the soft lock portion, you have to go past where the default strat like actually
Yeah,
starts.
yeah. It's not at all faster.
Mm.
But yeah, so I think Xanera's actually gaining on Lizard Rockets quite a bit. Once again, it's really hard to tell because he paused for a while and
Mm.
Lizard Rockets timer is completely off. But they seem to be kind of on the same map right now. We can
They
talk about
are
that.
about neck and neck gameplay wise.
Yeah.
Again, Xanera did pause for a lot. Really, again, very close looking right now. But Xanera is, of course, going a little bit faster because of the time delay that he had earlier.
Yeah. and you can see them right now. There's plenty of setups on doing this trick, but the trick involves sort of tricking the game into thinking that there's an object staying on the button in order to get certain things to move. It doesn't work for things like doors, I believe, where you can't really trick the game into opening a door permanently most of the time. But because I think it's in relation to the platform under the door, it manages to trick it open. There's a couple other instances of that glitch in the game.
Yep, that's how my strat for pit flings works, because I can't string 3 reportals together.
Yeah, but you can see them both now on this map. You know, some people call it a secret panel, or whatever you want to call it. It's the map where Wheatley talks to you, and you're able to skip quite a bit of the level by actually climbing above the level itself. This allows you to keep the orange portal on the other side, so you can fall through it and place a tiny portal into the other side and just skip plugging Wheatley into the wall. So this saves a considerable amount of time, and once you've practiced it, it gets really consistent. And so it's one of the more important strats in the beginning of the game to save time.
No, and being 93rd, I haven't done this in a run yet, but I know how.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of time. There's different ways to do it. There's the faster method of either bunny hopping up or wall strafing up, and then there's other methods that involve placing a portal in front of it and jumping through the orange one in order to try and land on the piece. But depending on which way you do it, you can speed up the game considerably. And you can see that l1zardr0ckets has actually messed up the strategy. He has not let Wheatley through the portal, so he's going back to a previous save point, which has lost him a lot of time. And we can see Xinera at a healthy lead right now. l1zardr0ckets now has his little his little waffle Wheatley.
Yes.
It almost looks like peanut butter. The color of it
Kinda does.
The texture looks very waffly, but the color reminds me of peanut butter.
I think it's supposed to be a waffle. I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
What a nasty piece of work she was.
Yeah, and we can see Xinera right now on the map Wake Up. It's a pretty tightly optimized map, just in terms of fast hopping. The entire first half of the map is just being really fast and bunny hopping really efficiently.
And now it's a cutscene.
Yeah, and then the second half of the map, or the second half, is being way too generous. It's the majority of the map is just sitting in this little control room and just waiting on a long cutscene to end. We'll see if it goes for hoopy strats.
Yeah, no, hoopy strats are always important. And then again, as you just saw Lizard do, because he's coming through the map again, they're both gonna look at this, elevator for a little bit. But it is a very tight hopping space, so there's not a lot of room for error. It's one that requires a bit of practice, but once again, yeah, once you do practice, it becomes extremely easy.
Yeah, it's a fun map. Not at all, actually.
Xinera doesn't look to be going for hoopy strats.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think I'm a little bit behind you on the stream, but if you jump at the very last second of the elevator, you can land on top of Wheatley's console and grab Hoopy the Hoop, which is sort of like a big Valve inside joke from the original Portal at the very end of the game. See a
I actually jump at the very first second. I don't know about you.
Ah, gotcha.
I jump the second I plug Wheatley in because it just works then.
Oh, that's cool. I've never done it that way. But yeah, neither of them have gone for hoopy strats. So you can actually pick it up and move it around and throw it, put Gladys's head inside of it and stuff. But looks like both of them are going to be real boring. Oh well, not a whole lot of interesting. And both of them are like looking at nothing too, so you don't even get to enjoy the cutscene.
You can look at Xinera's portal gun until you can't anymore. Kind of just slowly jiggling up and down.
Yeah, at least give us a nice view of the waffle.
Yes. Yeah, at least look at your custom textures.
Yeah, it looks like this this might be spelling death for l1zardr0ckets. It looks like he hasn't been practicing quite enough. Xinera's taken a pretty healthy lead at this point, considering he was in the pause menu for quite a while. So, we'll see. There's plenty of points in this, on average, like an hour and 5-minute game, like depending on how good you are, anywhere from like an hour and 1 minute to an hour and like 20. So there's a lot of time for both.
My PB's a 127, so
Yeah. I've run this game single segment like 4 times, and I think my record is around like a 118, 119. So there's a lot of room for improvement the more you play.
I've got 6 runs. My live split always says like 64 or something.
Nice.
And I'm waiting until I get to the 69th to actually record one.
Classic.
Because I can. I do what I want.
Yeah, Incinerator here is a fun map. There's like little skips, like you can see Xinera doing, jumping over the platform there, and then there's a little trigger skip if you see him crouching around the corner there. Discovered by Tanger2B, of course, the best router in the game. That allows you to skip GLaDOS telling you about the portal gun while you're standing next to it, so you're able to just grab it immediately and save a second or two. And then you can see them sort of playing it slow here, and they don't really hurry once they're at this point in the map because the dialogue takes forever. So there's no real urgency. If you see a runner just sort of, hanging around, not doing much important, it's normally because they're just waiting on a dialogue or an in-game trigger or something to move along. See l1zardr0ckets struggling,
especially
here.
with the ones whose audio we can't hear.
Yeah,
they're probably waiting for dialogue.
It's pretty common to have to wait on dialogue, especially in the beginning of the game. As the game progresses, there's less and less reliance on dialogue. You can see Xinera going for safe strats here. That wall on the left that Xinera portals onto, it'll disappear after about 2 hops once you're inside the level. So he places the portal before he hits the trigger. Otherwise, you have to wait for a couple seconds for the wall to readjust and you to be able to place a portal again. So it's just safe strats to ensure that he's able to get through it and he doesn't have to waste that time. So
Lizard, you'll see not going for the safe strat and instead going for
missing it completely. But it looks like he saved, so he's gonna go ahead and try it again. But yeah, dangerous strats can save you a lot of time if you do them well, but if you continue to fail them, like l1zardr0ckets is here, then oh well.
Yeah, sitting at the top of that portal.
Yeah, he's going through the top of the portal instead of placing it more in front of him, farther in front of him.
Don't let that horrible person thing discourage you.
But oh well, like I said, he's still got some time to make up if he wants to. I would say he should stop resetting the level and just sort of...
I'd say it could have been done by now.
Yeah, do slow strats. If you do slow strats at this point, you're going to save time because he's going to continue to mess up these fast strats.
And Xinera, what you saw Xinera do just now, Lizard will get there in a second, but Xinera just did what we like to call a laser switch glitch because it's fun to say, and that's what it is. Which is essentially, if you have a laser into one receptor, you can take that laser off of the receptor and put it into another one, and there is a 3 or 4 tick space where that laser is functionally turning on both receptors.
There's a cooldown time on it unactivating, and there's a lot of instances where if you just hold yourself up against a door, that was really clean from Xinera with that.
Very nice wet maker.
It's a tough one to hit consistently. But yeah, there's quite a few instances in the game where even if a button isn't held down consistently or a trigger isn't held down consistently, if it's hit at all and you're pressing up against the door will open all the way. So there's a couple instances where that's abused in the game.
Yep, it's what I like to call the anti-crush technique. I always like to make the note that single player doesn't want to actively kill you, and you will notice that in co-op, the crushing of people is literally a mechanic of the game.
Yeah, it's very important in co-op. Let's see Xinera going for fast SS strats on this map, which involve him like sort of throwing the cube in front of him to knock him down early, and it's pretty easy to do, but the difficult part lies in picking the cube back up once it's hit you, and he pulled that off really cleanly. So he's just furthering his...
I think he could have done cube hop if he tried hard enough.
Cube hop is not consistent enough for single segment. I don't even think any of the world record holders or people who've competed for it have done it. It's kind of finicky. It's not a lot of fun to do. Just like the cube hop you can do in the map that Xinera is currently on, which nobody will go through for in single segment because it doesn't even save that much time and it's considerably harder. He's actually going to go for the super safe strats. I like this strat a lot more in single segment, where instead of trying to fall through the wall and sort of strafe over, he just sort of plays it safe and just lands in a normal.
I was really wondering about how low that portal was and if he was gonna actually go for that circle jump or no.
Yeah. But he's maintaining a healthy lead on Lizard Rockets right now.
Both had an elevator though, so that counts.
Yeah, you know, this is pretty synced right now.
You didn't react at the time, so I was worried it sailed right over
So
your
we're
head.
just, but remember, it's not as far apart as you might think looking at those timers. So, you know, being
Yeah, that's
22 minutes into the game at this point would be pretty awful. But you know, he's not 22 minutes. Subtract about 4 minutes from
Did
there.
you know that people with
first of all rude. Second of all, the
At this point
yeah,
in the tournament, at this point in the tournament,
yes, at the tournament.
no shame for new runners.
Yes. Very nice cube there, Lizard.
Yeah, he didn't grab that. Oh yeah, his cube has a very interesting texture. Not entirely sure what that is, but it's very vibrant.
Xinera, you'll see right now, trying to string 2 reportals to get that portal up top to the slanted surface, and then another one to get up to the rest of the run.
Yeah, reportals are another interesting thing in the game. I guess we could talk about for a minute.
Yeah, go off.
Yeah, so the game in Portal 1, you can stand inside of portals and place them elsewhere, and you can maneuver pretty quickly. So Valve sort of wanted to patch that out of the game. So if you're trying to place a portal while you're standing in a portal, it'll sort of shove you out, sort of like a "don't stand in me while you're shooting a portal" mechanic. But runners have found a way to abuse this in order to gain momentum. So if you time, it's not tick perfect, but it's a pretty tight window, where if you time a portal shot while you're going through that portal, you can get a speed boost. So in that map specifically, if you chain 3 of them in a row, which is pretty difficult to do, unless you have some really strong muscle memory, you can get through that map really quickly. But Xinera went for a safer backup strat that allows him to jump off once he's hit 2 reportals successfully, or I think 1 reportal. You can do it with 1.
And I was talking about earlier, I have a strat that involves a button glitch, but
yeah,
it saves only like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's a nice safe backup strat. We'll have to see if Xinera hits the. It doesn't look like he has.
It doesn't look like he's got double dialogue.
Yeah, they might reset for this. There's a way to abuse the triggers in this map to skip 2 sessions of dialogue, which saves a whole lot of time. It's roughly like 20 seconds, right? It's
about there.
Yeah, maybe a little less, but it saves a considerable amount of time. And it's sort of a muscle memory trick. It's kind of difficult to pull off unless you really have the all of the movements down. You can see Lizard Rockets here struggling. If you try and go for this backup strat and you're not going into the portal correctly, sometimes you'll hit the wall. So, but yeah, so it looks like, has Xinera given up on the double dialogue?
I think Xinera did give up on double dialogue there.
He's learning from Lizard Rocket's mistakes and not trying to sink too much time into hitting a trick that he's not having luck with. So, regardless, he's still at a pretty decent pace right now. We'll just have to see.
Of course,
it's a very interesting bind from Lizard Rockets. Oh, he's going for the very unsafe route in Fizzler Intro, where you
might want to reload your stream there because he's just finished Fizzler Intro. Yeah,
maybe I will.
Yeah, he did shoot under the platforms. I think that's a CM thing. I'm not sure why it's dangerous. But
yeah, well, it's dangerous because if it closes up and you don't hit it, then you have to go back and do the backup strat. So it's normally quicker to just do the older strat. That's a little slower because it doesn't save massive amounts of time, and it saves
some time.
What?
Sorry about that.
Yeah. We can see. We'll see what Xinera is doing for Ricochet. Ricochet is one of those maps that has so many different routes. So what he's trying to do right now is get the cube to hit the laser. And if he can get it to hit the laser at the right time as he goes in it, he can grab the cube, skip the little panel, and use the cube to bounce himself up to the end of the map. So
too fast.
Yeah.
Too fast.
This is a map you can lose a lot of time on. It's sort of Valve's like speedrunner map. They threw a big bone to speedrunners. They even made an achievement for finishing the map quickly. Yeah, so it's a really fun map with a lot of different opportunities, but it's difficult to hit consistently.
But once you again practice it for a while, it's pretty good.
Yeah, the
Sizable
routes
amount of
that
anger there from Xinera.
just flailing around. But like the more and more you practice that map, the quicker it does get, and the more cool strats you can learn. Like that's definitely not the quickest strat you can do, but it's a relatively consistent one. Let's see, Lizard Rockets missing the reportal. Oh, is he going for the? No, he's not. He's going for a safer route, for the world record route.
Ooh.
He's going for the. I think this is route credit per Oculus.
Pero has a lot of different setups for a lot of different things.
Yeah, Paroculus was one of the big world record holders. Oh, that's an unfortunate cycle miss from Xinera. This map is almost entirely cycle based.
Yeah, and of course he missed the
he went for safe strats, and actually he lost a lot of time to safe strats, which is unfortunate, especially with that save point that's really far back in the level. But luckily for him, Lizard Rockets appears to be still stuck on Ricochet. Oh wow, yeah. There's a lot of tilting that can happen in a game this long, so hopefully that doesn't happen too much from a. Oh, I think Blizzard actually had that.
Blizzard did have it, and then
decided to reset. Anyway. That's strange.
He's got it though. He's got it though.
It's strange that he's going for that safe strat, because I know for a fact that he has a decent time on this map, I think.
Yeah, so that is now one map difference, because Xinera is now not on the Deathless run.
They both lost a lot of time on Ricochet, so it's not as favoring Xinera as it might have otherwise been.
Yeah, and we'll see how much time he gets on bridge intro here. Because you never know. I mean,
Bridge the Gap coming up for Xinera. This is a fun one. This is a map that's really hard for newer players because it just involves really clean bunny hopping. But I'm guessing Xinera hits this first try. If you're able to hop quick enough, you can actually skip the door. Yeah, he didn't hit it first try. But you can skip the door from closing, which saves a considerable amount of time. So it's always good to restart this map. There's almost never a reason to not go for a restart if you can do it. So that's what he's doing here, because it saves us such a significant amount of time. There are safer strats that involve waiting around a little bit and wall strafing, but he's sending us a typed message in chat.
Yeah, Xinera's, I think, just got door skip on like 6th time because it's just typed about it.
Yeah. It looks like Lizard Rockets is now. Yeah, I think Xinera's messed up his quick save.
Oh yes, thank you, Blenderist. French does save 10 ticks later in the game.
That's true. That's true.
So depending on who gets door skip first, we might be looking at a pretty interesting race.
Yeah, if Lizard Rockets here is able
to Lizard's got it.
Yeah, Lizard's got it. Wow.
And he's got the jump off first try, very clean.
Wow, he's going for fast strats. That's really impressive. Actually, he's saved so much time here. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. If I'm Xinera right here, I'm.
He's doing default strats.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. In this sort of scenario, you want to do default strats.
So I'm gonna switch over. We can't use Lizard's audio.
Yeah, I don't think we.
But we would be if he was in the lead.
But this is still pretty
awkward elevator.
Okay, that's probably the bird in it that laid the eggs. Livid. Okay, the point is, we're gonna break out of here, alright? Very soon, I promise.
This is a relatively fast turret. Let's see if he goes for the cube throw. He is not.
He does.
Alright.
Alright.
But yeah, he's got a pretty healthy lead right now on Xinera. So this is interesting.
And that's a red split as well. But I think everything's going to be red splits for
with the added 4 minutes. Everything's going to be red splits for him this game, unless he just absolutely saves crazy amounts of time.
No, green splits are going to show up when like that. That's when it's light red.
Yeah. So Xinera's not going for the throw either. It's dumb really to go for the throw. It's probably RNG. He didn't go for the cube throw, but he did throw the cube, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that's interesting. But Lizard Rockets gets the dialogue skip. There's faster ways to do this map. that Lizard Rockets just beat. But if you do it quicker, then you lose the dialogue, and so you have to sort of ride all the way to the bottom of the elevator shaft.
Yep. Tanger, this is where you insert your Xinera, by the way, joke and let it just sit there.
Yeah, Tanger, world famous Portal 2 router.
Route credits for every map except for few go to Tanger
Yeah,
2.
except anything Oob. There's now
Any-
Oob in Portal 2, so anything Oob related is kind of not his wheelhouse.
You're going to be dead in 60 years.
Wow, Xinera really
Well, I've been
struggling with
working on a
this
belated
map.
birthday present.
It's funny how the tables have turned. It's went
How
from
the
being
turntables.
Yeah,
This will truly be like a bracket upset for a lot of people if.
yeah, if Lizard Rockets is able to actually take this, because he's a whole level ahead at this point.
That's a one map difference. And you know, again, because I was looking at the bracket, Lizard here is a 35 seed and Xinera is a 10.
It's right here in your
Keep
Yeah.
in mind, Lizard beat out Waterless Melon, a 24, Blender East, a 25, and looks to be currently winning against Xinera, a 10.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. I think this is really gonna to bite Xinera. You know, if he actually loses this match, it'd certainly be an upset. Um, how do you even find routes? It must be hard. Yeah.
It's a small world.
This game's been out since as of I think the 18th of this month. The game will be out for 8 years, right? 2011.
I have a surprise.
Yeah,
So
technically anniversary is the 18th, but I think we scheduled it on a Friday because it's Friday.
Yeah, we're doing a Portal 2 is the community around Portal 2 is doing a live stream on the 19th, the Friday, next Friday.
The reason you can remember is because it's my birthday that day.
Wow. Happy early birthday.
You can wish it to me then as well. Thank you, Big D. But we will have, while we're just in the middle of that, we will have, and that's anniversary, April 18th or April 19th, depending on who you ask. We'll have a no SLA race between a bunch of people. Some will be good, some will not be.
Yeah.
We'll have some ultra hardcore on the Portal 2 Minecraft server. You might want to tune into that. We will have a B-hop race, courtesy of Kess. We'll have a bunch of other fun stuff. I think there's a co-op race as well.
Yeah.
And this will all be happening on twitch.tv/Portal 2 speedruns if you feel like tuning in next Friday, April 19th.
Around 2 p.m. Eastern or no?
Something like that. I
Yeah.
can't make it because of musical theater, but
Yeah, I'll be out of classes by then. I get my last class.
yeah, you get to hang out.
Yeah, so we might splinter off as well and do some separate live streams because imagine having everybody in one Discord would be a nightmare. But
The bitrate can't handle it.
yeah.
Can I get it? Can I get some can't even bit rates in the chat? Just by the way.
Yeah.
See if we can get some of those.
But it'll be interesting to say the least. I know I've bought a cake for the occasion.
Wait, it's Dane skip time.
Oh yeah. So this is where we go into explaining Dane skip. This is a skip that involves, you can do this on almost any map, but it involves clipping through the bottom of the elevator. The reason we try and do it on this map, Column Blocker specifically, is because it saves a crazy amount of time.
It's like 27 seconds.
There's a sort of long cutscene with Wheatley and the nanobot Jerry. So if you're able to actually hit this skip, you can save a huge amount of time from having to sit through the slow skip, and you just sort of fall all the way to the bottom of the elevator shaft and hit the load trigger. So,
and they're both on it now.
Yeah, they're both. This is if Xinera hits this quickly, can absolutely catch him up with.
This is again how the turntables. I mean.
Yeah, and this skip, of course, popularized by Dane APG, who
And Lizard's got it.
Who was given very, very vague Yeah, he just got it. Very, very vague instructions on how to pull it off, and did it first try. So we call it Dane skip in his honor. Xinera is still working on it, but he honestly can make up the time. To be this close again because of Lizard Rockets missing the skip multiple times is a pretty big deal. Let's see what laser chaining strat he does. All right, he went for challenge mode strat and actually missed it. If you jump off quick enough, you can sort of throw yourself across. But he went for it and didn't get it. So, but he is still going for challenge mode strat, which is kind of risky. Yeah, especially if that happens and you miss it. Normally, it's better to just throw that cube down first. That way you can aim your second one accordingly, and you don't have to really put it down to luck. But he pulled that off pretty quickly, all things considered.
Well,
And
you know the
And
old
Xinera
saying,
just coming into laser chaining again, so this is
"Holiday
this
will
one map
pass
difference,
by," and you
where
have
if we
been
miss something
successful.
commentating, we can
So
always
I
just
guess it's
commentate it again.
actually pretty
Yeah.
funny when you do
There's
them.
plenty. He's gonna go for a much safer strat here. I like the strat more for single segment. I just got done grinding a position like 23 or something in
Uh-huh.
CM, and it's kind of a nightmare to play this map. And it's very inconsistent because of the aim of everything and how the cube can just sort of flop around once you put it down. So I like Xinera's strat here. It's much safer, and he saved quite a bit of time over Lizard here, even though he still is a map behind.
Mhm.
So Xinera can easily catch up here. He's obviously getting frustrated, but it happens, and he can easily pull this back. He's not very far behind.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how both of their chapter 8s go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to chapter 6 personally.
That's right.
But
The
let's see,
facility is
Xinera here going for
completely
quick strats here.
operational
He actually managed to do it.
Lizard, you'll notice he just stood on that wall for a little bit, and he's just gonna bunny hop over. He's not even gonna wait for the bridge. This is a very B-hop based map. Kess got really excited about these maps last night. You can go for the stairs here. It gives you a little bit of a time boost, unless you're at the ceiling, in which case it doesn't. Xinera is not. Lizard's timer is behind.
I've got a surprise
Yeah.
for you after this next
Um,
one. Not a fake, tragic
the-
surprise like last time.
I'm basing it off of gameplay again.
Yeah.
Xinera
Load times also
did
are a
spend
factor.
a lot of time in the pause menu, and
So
it's
he
really
could
hard
still
to
be in
infer
the
about
lead.
that. It could be very well, like they could be about even relatively.
We're gonna have to know after the race unless it's an absolute blowout.
Uh huh.
But yeah, the skip that they both pulled off in this map is really cool. That Xenera's going through right now. You're able to sort of land above where the panel opens, and you can sort of skip a couple seconds of waiting for the bridge to appear with a well placed jump. And then this map that Lizard Rockets just now finished up is mostly just bunny hopping. There's a couple of small optimizations like jumping over a catwalk with a turret. But mostly it's just being quick, and it's not a map that you typically lose or save a whole lot of time on.
And it is absolutely not a blowout, as Fat Man said. Like, this is close.
Yeah, no,
Lizard
this is
here-
absolutely not a blowout.
Lizard going into flashlight skip here. You'll notice that you can actually see with your eyes this time around, because you can turn on lights as per new rules that were voted on in like October or something.
Yeah, it allows you to set an ambient light in the game to where even though the game itself isn't really creating any light or it's cutting out light, we just sort of ignore it. He's going for the skip still, pretty slowly. But you're able to jump onto this Wheatley railing and skip his long dialogue. So that's what Lizard is doing right now. And then because we've voted on being able to use it, it makes it much easier to view for a viewer. So normally you would have to watch this segment in complete darkness, which is really obnoxious. But good runners know their way around it to where they can do it in darkness. So it's not a big like bonus for a runner. It's more of a viewer, especially with bit rates, because it's clearer to view on your own screen than it is for your audience to see. Contrary to popular belief, running all the way up of Wheatley's little management rail there doesn't actually save any time. Even though Lizard Rockets just did it. We'll see what Xinera does up here. But jumping off of it once you land on it is quicker. No, he's riding it too. He's riding it too. That's interesting. Yeah.
I remember it was a four-way race that I think I might have been commentating or was in or something. But either way, all four of our runners died while jumping on the railings in Turret Factory. So the fact that they are doing this now is pretty good, considering I've seen about a 50-50 kill rate on.
Yeah, but it's gonna be really interesting this next map. Turret Sabotage. This is one of the biggest time saves in the game right now. new time saves in the game right now. I'll be clear. Where it involves picking up 2 black turrets that are flung at you and sort of using them to climb up an invisible wall and skip a massive cutscene with Wheatley. So if you're able to do this consistently, it saves a huge amount of time, and even missing it a couple of times still saves a huge amount of time.
Very, very nice RNG from Lizard here as well.
Yeah, he got 2 black turrets in a row. You can go. I think people have hit like. Oh, did he not go for the second black turret?
Oh, that's exceptionally good.
Oh, wow,
Oof.
yeah, no, yeah. Oh, that's really nice. But yeah, you save a whole lot of time with this strategy, even though he's gonna miss it at least once here. As Xinera should be in the lead right now because of his pause menu. So it's gone from being in Lizard's favor to Xinera actually leading.
Mhm.
But it's still really close. As you can see, Xinera doesn't get nearly as nice RNG there. He gets a white turret, so it doesn't help him a whole lot. But this is, a lot of people like to say, this is super consistent, but it is tricky. It's certainly not super easy. So.
Mhm. And this is, I feel like I've said this a lot in the past 15 minutes, but this is another one of those strats where if someone gets it before the other, it's, Lizard missing that first B-hop there, but at least he's up there, and Xinera's across, which means...
Yeah, Xinera's in a healthy lead right now.
Not even healthy, like, that's maybe, like, 5 seconds of, like, actual game. Again,
Well,
not sure where he is.
Yeah, well, remember, he had the pause menu for a little while, so...
Yeah.
He's already, if they're perfectly matched, Xinera's in the lead.
Embarrassing. I mean, I realize they're children, but still.
So this is a pretty healthy advantage, and this little circle jump that that Lizard just hit, it's kind of tricky to do. So Xinera's strategy was just to scale up the wall on the other side and go for a hop off the turret, which I think is it's kind of iffy. I don't know which is actually faster. I think the strategy that Xinera did is faster. It might be easier as well. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure.
I knew we were going the right way.
But yeah, you can see Xinera now hitting Neurotoxin Sabotage. This map is kind of dumb. It's RNG. It's cycle-based and kind of RNG. But even getting bad RNG doesn't lose you a huge amount of time. So it's not a big, interesting time save map. The only interesting thing he might be able to do is there's no hitbox for the door on his right. Yeah, see, he hits it there. So he's able to shoot the portal through there. I'm not sure what this is.
He's not gonna get the chair. In this map is one of the few chairs that you can actually grab in this game. It's a seemingly
portal gun as well.
Yeah, not important detail that I just really like to talk about because really, like, it's a nice chair. You like the nice chair.
Yeah, I was talking with Crazy How, another important router in the game, and we were saying there is a slim possibility that there could be a way to out of bounds in this map with that chair. I like the idea of it happening.
And Xinera in Tube Ray right now, one of the hardest maps in the game, requires about 50-60 frame perfect inputs in the middle.
But yeah, this is Tube Ride, the most exciting map in the game. This is the map I like to call Pee Break, because it's a great time to go pee during your run.
Sometimes I get out my trombone.
Yeah, this or the fall.
Yeah, that too. But also, since we're on Pee Break map for both of these runners, I'm gonna do my obligatory exclamation R, exclamation C, and reminder to stay hydrated, kids.
Go get a drink of water, buddy. Actually, there's
We'll be
another
here.
great point coming up in about a minute and a half where you can also get water during the long fall. But yeah.
Noob, please animate your portal gun.
Yeah. There's a great video by a community member named m.sushi. If you want to look up m.sushi, you can find a video on how to create custom portal guns.
Who's m.sushi again?
m.sushi is a Celeste runner who we don't talk about anymore, except to mention his portal gun video. He's actually in the tournament, is he not?
It was nice.
Is he
catching
still
up.
in? I thought he got knocked
He
out.
held world record for a little
I
while.
hope you brought something
No, he
stronger
didn't.
than a portal
Yeah,
gun
in
this
single
time.
segment. Sushi did, for sure.
Oh, we're waiting on an M Sushi v Zaipe match which they haven't scheduled because I think they're in way different time zones.
That's gonna be a fascinating match.
Uh,
Yeah, Zypa
I
is
kind of hope I can commentate it. Like,
yeah,
please.
Zypa is
Zaipe.
undisputedly the best runner in this game in
Yeah.
all challenge modes.
If he actually practiced, he'd get world record within a week.
Sure.
You were busy.
But,
Sushi
yeah.
also has had SS world record for a little while and has one or two. I think he still has the smooth jazz world record.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so M Sushi.
M Sushi Zaipe, if you see this or anything, please schedule it on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday because man, I want to commentate that.
Or don't, and I'll
Just call
commentate
me.
it regardless.
Yeah, you don't have stuff to do.
I do actually. Oh, nice Wheatley juggle from Xinera.
Yes, I liked it.
It's very fun.
I feel pretty good.
There you go. Good lad.
Oh, that's me they're talking about.
But yeah, Xinera is in a lead, but not a ridiculous lead right now. So he is ahead, but it's the neck the the race is relatively neck and neck right now. It's really anybody's game at this point. So certainly not a blowout. We'll see right here. There's a way to, if you jump into this portal correctly, you can actually save a couple seconds and hit the button early. We'll see if either of the runners go for it. And then there's one of the biggest saves in the game. Yeah, Xinera's hit it.
Here we come into McPatro glitch. Otherwise affectionately known as elevator skip. Not to be confused with elevator clip or Dane skip or Jerry skip or whatever you want to call it. This is elevator skip, which saves 2 minutes and 37 seconds if you do it right, and 2 minutes and 32 if you don't. It really is maybe one of the simplest strats in the game for the amount of time that it saves. Because really all you gotta do is jump on top of this elevator.
Yeah, I use an audio cue. Once you hear a little ding in the game, you can just jump up on the top of the elevator.
I've never actually used the ding. I just go when the elevator hits the floor.
If you run up and jump right when you hear the ding, then you'll hit it every time. And then you just stand you just have to be careful where you stand so you don't get stuck in the elevator, and then just wait for it to start moving up, and a couple seconds after that you can jump over it and skip a lot of dialogue.
Sometimes I wait for the day when someone's gonna miss elevator skip because, again, I haven't seen anyone miss elevator skip since the last time I missed elevator skip, which was like last October.
Yeah, I'd also like to acknowledge Tanger2B in the chat, one of the greatest routers of all time, who has said, "Imagine needing a Q to hit McPedro after he taught me the Q." Just like to throw that out there. It looks like Xinera is not hit fast fall. If you're really careful with your strafes, you can not hit an edge and go down a little faster, but it's small amounts of time save. So he's still got a decent lead on l1zardr0ckets here. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. This is a good P break right here. If you didn't take one before and we're waiting for a second one, the long fall. So.
If you were filling up your water earlier, this is when you drink it.
This is where I'm gonna go fill up my water. Take it away.
On it. So now that he's gone, again, pretty straightforward map. Fun thing about the fall is you don't actually move anywhere. You can look at your position and see that you're not actually going anywhere, and your velocity isn't really changing that much. All you have is the potato in the 5,000 meters below you of the seemingly bottomless pit, which you'll see is very, very not bottomless in about 20-25 seconds. So, yeah. So,
all right, and just in time.
Very loud is what you call that. Especially when you hit those boards at the bottom of the hole. You would be hearing it from l1zard right now, but we don't have audio for him. So, You'll notice
All right, I
the
think we
crowd
play.
just
I think we're supposed to play like the person who's ahead's
yeah,
audio.
it's the lead audio.
Yeah.
You'll note that crow just like took off that potato, which most Portal 2 speedrunners would consider as extremely rude.
It's kind of mean.
Yeah, not very nice of him.
Wow. Xinera's underground here is really clean.
Yeah,
This map is a lot of like really small windowed portal shots that individually aren't all that hard, but hitting them all in a row is pretty difficult to do as quickly as he's doing it. Even though he struggled a little bit with that. You can skip a lot of the map by just sort of knowing exactly where to aim.
he's a gamer.
Yeah, he's a gamer, dude. He plays video games.
Mhm.
So both of them are gonna skip waiting on the doors for this catwalk by just sort of jumping into this little clip on the door. It's really easy to do. It's really not all that difficult. And you can see l1zardr0ckets here taking advantage of the matte ambient light command in order to make it really easy to view portaling surfaces
Very
here.
much, yeah.
Whereas Xinera is relying more on just muscle memory.
I'm not sure how many hours both of these runners have, but it's an amount.
Yeah, l1zardr0ckets is an older runner, who hasn't played much recently. As I think Xinera is a much newer runner with a lot more modern experience, and he's coming on one of the more important maps in the game. It involves skipping a huge elevator ride. So just shooting that portal over there. He's actually doing the safer strat, which I like a lot, where you can barely clip a little surface and then shoot a portal over there. And then sort of by abusing a built-in momentum trigger, you can just sort of skip having to jump down the elevator into a portal. And it looks like he's also trying to go for the reportal, which is pretty impressive.
You're gonna jump off
If
that
you hit a
pipe.
reportal while hitting the scripted momentum, you can skip the room that follows this. So, if I were l1zardr0ckets here, I would
And it's got it? He's just going for it.
yeah, he's just going for it. That's what I was gonna suggest.
Like
I would
10
suggest just going
seconds.
for it normally. It saves a decent amount of time to hit that reportal, but if you just keep saving and reloading, and I think he's learned from his past that restarting continuously instead of doing safe strats is not gonna help him. So Xinera still has a pretty decent lead here, but pretty decent in terms of like maybe 30 seconds.
Again,
He's in a
yeah,
lead, but
close
not a
race.
huge one. Yeah, it's a huge, massively close race. I did not expect this. I expected a sweeping.
You can never expect anything in Portal 2.
No, never.
Yeah, you were talking about Lizard being an older runner, and I neglected to make my goodish joke. Because in his newer song Speedrun, which you can conveniently stream on YouTube, he said, new and old runners, now kiddo, this a tournament. And I was gonna make a joke about that, but I don't have time because Xinera's doing a gamer strat right now.
Yeah, he's doing the crazy cube clip. So this actually gives l1zardr0ckets quite a bit of leeway if he messes this up a couple times. Lizard is doing the much safer strat right here. That is slower, but if he gets it like quickly as he is right now, then he saves a lot of time. So yeah, Xinera right now is giving up on the quick strat and is going for the safe strat. So Lizards, they might be even right here because of the pausing and such. But this has been a pretty big time save for Lizard here.
Is Xinera recording demos from saves?
That'd be interesting.
I think you probably could, but you never know.
Running SAR, boys. SAR for it. But yeah, this is really close. I think they're probably almost neck and neck right now. I think there's a good chance that they're basically at the same point, even though it doesn't look like it. If you're tuning in late, l1zardr0ckets timer was it added like almost 5 minutes at the very beginning, so we'll just have to subtract that near the end. And then Xinera had to pause to fix his recording for a little while. So the live game feed isn't actually a perfect indication of how quickly either of the runners are going. All right. This is a pretty straightforward map.
Mm-hmm. And I
There
think
are
they're actually
yeah
the same elevator.
yeah there are actually like some crazy strategies for this map, but neither of them go for it because you can lose a whole lot of time if you don't pull it off. No, nobody's close to beating Can't Even on this run.
Crimson is.
Now, if you're part of control group Kepler 7, we implanted a tiny microchip.
Oh, you mean close to beating him at all? I thought you meant in this run. Yeah, there are people who could beat Can't Even's record right now, but not in this run. Certainly nobody here is gonna get a sub hour. Crimson does stream. I forget his stream link, but I'm sure somebody can find it for you. Let's see. It's a nice quick strat from l1zardr0ckets there.
We'll see if Xinera can get it as well.
Xinera is going for the safer strat.
Is
But
that a
it's
safer
still
strat?
fast. Yeah, well, that's not.
I haven't seen this done ever.
Yeah, this is safer. You don't have to strafe as hard if you go for this route. So it's safer, but it still saves time compared to the older strat of placing the cube at the edge of the button and just sort of trying to knock it off with a portal.
Mm,
If you're gonna go for a strat like that, then you know, l1zardr0ckets did the quicker strat.
yeah.
And I
I
still
do the one
imagine.
that l1zardr0ckets did.
Yeah, I still imagine they're about at the same time right now.
Uh-huh.
After Xinera's pausing. He's going for very safe potato strats here.
Congratulations. The simple fact that you're standing
Yeah,
here
there's
listening to me means you've made a
there are elements in the game that will auto correct your portal placement, and the one for the wall in potatoes is larger than the wall itself. So just shooting at the corner of the wall will like sort of put the portal on the other side of it, which saves a lot of time. But Xinera
Very nice
did
air
this
strafe from
strong.
l1zardr0ckets there, coming out of
Yeah.
potato skip there.
That was really good. That was clean.
Mm-hmm.
You can skip
Got a little bit of extra
huge
height
portion of the
actually.
level. That's one of the oldest skips in the game, but it's still a massive skip because you don't have to sit through the entire GLaDOS potatoes bird dialogue. So this, even though most commentators never talk about the skip because it's just so much of a part of normal Portal, it is actually a huge time save that we don't talk about a whole lot. And
This is going for the reportal.
Yeah.
And gets it.
This reportal is one of the toughest reportals in the game, in my opinion, because it's so different from any other wall-based reportal you do. You have to be going in like towards when you're like your character model is about to hit the ground, and you have to jump immediately afterwards. So it's a little tricky to hit. It takes a lot of practice. So there's a lot of safer strats you can do that involve placing that portal at the end. But Xinera's also going for it. So and they both hit it really quickly.
Yep.
So that's really cool. So we get to see the run continue at this neck and neck pace.
Yep, there was a new-ish strat found by Kersey through here. It doesn't look like this is gonna do it.
Yeah.
But it involves a couple of stringed reportals. I'm not super reportal. Is that what we call it?
Yeah, super reportal where you sort of clip yourself into a wall and then just sort of start reportaling like crazy. Lizard's going for the safer. I think this is a Tanger 2B strat, but it's pretty safe, even though he missed it there. If you're able to hit jump right when you go through that portal, you sort of jump into the goo with a lot of momentum and it's very quick. And you can fling across the map. Oh, and that's a really bad save from l1zardr0ckets. He saved it a really bad. Oh, he's going for the old strat. He's going for the strat that I used to run back in the day.
I still use this strat. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I got made fun of for using the strat because it's much less consistent, and it looks like Xinera's back in a healthy lead.
Yeah. And you can see l1zardr0ckets hitting it now, but he got surfed, so he's got to do it again. But his splits are definitely red. But yeah, no, again, to Fat Man's point, we cannot actually tell, you know, how close the runners are. But with Xinera heading into conversion intro right now, I'd say that's
he's in a healthy lead right now.
Yeah, at least a minute.
Yeah, probably a minute would be my guess. Especially now that l1zardr0ckets has kind of botched the the what is this?
Since making
What is
test
that
participation mandatory for
map
all
called? I
employees,
forget.
the quality of
No,
our
I
tests
haven't
subjects
seen
has risen
Xinera choke
dramatically.
yet, but
Employee retention, however,
Yeah,
I've heard it happens.
Propulsion Flings, that's the map name. But yeah, they're on conversion intro now, which is a really tough challenge mode map. But honestly, the single segment strat, it's pretty consistent. It involves like one reportal and then some good movement, and that's about it. So hopefully Xinera will be able to pull it off first try. You can get
Lizard's
enough
got it.
speed with one reportal and a jump off of the catwalk there. Well, he's missed the jump, so that now he has to either reset the save or go for a double, which it looks like he's just or triple.
Yeah, I think he's
reportal.
going for a double here.
I don't know if you need to do a double or a triple reportal if you messed it up. I actually don't remember. Yeah, it
Got
looks
him.
like you need a triple, so he's put himself in a bad position by not quick saving, but he does manage to get it. But this gives, if Lizard Rockets hits the single reportal or has a backup save, he can save a good amount of time here and get closer to catching up to Xinera. Oh, he's actually hit that portal too. Oh no, he missed it. He's going. He sort of went for the challenge mode strat almost.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hit it, but
He got
it. Yeah, okay, he hit it. Yeah, he didn't hit it first try, but he still had that momentum from jumping off the catwalk. So a quick correction just fixes it up, and he's a whole lot closer to.
Yeah, and this is actually a pretty good run to look at missing dangerous strats versus
doing safe strats that are slightly
doing
slower.
safer strats very well.
Yeah.
Because that's what Lizard's been doing. I mean, you know, a lot of stuff that doesn't require a lot of dying, and you know, they're both going into 3 gels
With
right
the
here.
exception of laser intro.
Yeah.
I think he learned his lesson on laser intro. And then 3 gels here. 3 gels is one of the more interesting newer strats in the game. It involves Xinera's missing this portal placement, but it involves a stuck launch where your character gets stuck inside of an entity and sort of the game tries to push you out, so you just gain momentum very quickly. And if you're able to place the gel like right under the tube there, and then stick yourself in between these 2 objects, strafing out of it will give you massive amounts of speed, and you can skip most of this map. And then it doesn't look like Lizard Rockets is going for the double skip here.
He might yet. Or did he not put up? Did he not put the gel?
He didn't grab the gel.
All right, it's 2 bounce time.
Yeah, so 2 bouncing is kind of annoying, but oh well. And it looks like Xinera is still struggling with the strat. That's unfortunate.
I think he just got bad gel.
Yeah, the gel placement is pretty rough. He has to strafe really hard if he wants to hit that. Whereas a better gel placement, you just sort of fall into it.
But he's got it though. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah, he's got it now. I don't know if he's gonna go for Oh yeah, he's not gonna go for the double stuck launch. The double stuck launch saves a decent amount of time, but it's kind of tough. It's not super easy to pull off. It's really consistent, but it's kind of frustrating in my experience. And obviously theirs too if they're not going for it. Where you can use those pipes over there to stuck yourself. Instead, they for whatever reason, Valve has blue gel in the blue gel tubes, and so you're able to bounce off the tubes themselves. Let's see, double stuck launch actually saves like 1 second. Yeah, that's not a huge amount.
And that's why Can't Even doesn't.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you're can't even and you're going for like sub hour, then you want to take those seconds wherever you can get them, because that just gives you a lot more room to, like, if you mess up on one strat, your entire run isn't dead.
Yeah, and then, you know, casual reminder that there are only 73 seconds until we hit sub hour. Like,
yeah, it's pretty close.
Take those when you can get.
I think it's mostly because single segment really hasn't been a thing in Portal 2 for a long time, at least not at the level it's at now. We're sort of in a renaissance of Portal 2 single segment with this race, where a lot of runners are coming back and trying it and learning all the consistent strats. And we have people like Can't Even with the best single segment scores. Save load abuse, the category save load abuse that isn't no SLA, it's the SLA category, is actually sub hour at this point. So Yeah.
Xinera can retire later, like after this run.
With legs. It's
But yeah,
literally
I
got
think
only purpose.
even though
Walking onto
I think Lizard Rockets is slightly ahead, it's still super close.
It might depend on his cube throw.
Yeah, if Lizard Rockets hasn't practiced this cube throw, or if either of them, I guess, haven't practiced this cube throw, then
it's funny because we've been at this for 12
yeah,
hours.
so that's one miss.
I don't know why you're laughing.
2 misses.
You've
Yeah,
got
2
1
misses.
hour. Solve it.
There's a slightly safer cube throw you can go to. I don't know if either of them are gonna.
Xinera's got it.
You have no
Wow.
idea
Yeah,
what it's
there it
like.
is.
Oh my, and
So
Lizard's got
Xinera's
it.
now in the lead. So Xinera's now in the lead
Uh-huh.
because of the fact that he was paused early in the game,
Mhm.
so the live feed is a little bit behind.
Well, I'll tell you, when I do test,
But yeah, this is really close.
nothing feels better. It's just, that's why I've got to test. That's why I've got to test.
Neck and neck.
So you're gonna
Uh-huh.
test, and I'm gonna watch.
This is riveting.
It's gonna be just. Doing this test myself. It's a little bit different.
Ooh, Xinera missing the test button, which is not something I see every day.
No, you can miss it if you're going too fast, and you're just not close enough because you're trying to save time. But
Making tests is so difficult.
yeah, we'll just have to see. There's a pretty big dialogue skip coming up, so if one of them misses the dialogue skip, that'd be a good opportunity for a lead to be gained or a gap to be closed.
Nothing. Alright, can't blame you for trying.
I'm not entirely sure how the dialogue skip works, but it'll be interesting to see.
Just does.
Somewhere.
They're both going for it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Xinera's got it.
Does Xinera have it?
Yeah, Xinera got it. So yeah, I think, actually, yeah, I think they both got it. Because of course I can't hear Lizard Rocket's audio.
Uh-huh.
I should pull up both their streams independently, but I'm not gonna do that.
I only do that towards the end game just to see where their splits like relatively are.
Yeah, but this is interesting. This is chapter 8. This is like most of chapter 8 is entirely specific to single segment or the routes that they do, because it involves conserving the crouch fly in this game that you're able to get, and conserving it from map to map. So when you see them walking across and not moving all that quickly, it's because they're actually conserving their crouch fly. There's a way to conserve crouch fly outside of being in a funnel, and so the runners can save that from map to map, which saves a whole lot of time. So you'll see in this next map, they walk up the elevator and then they'll just jump. They'll just jump, and they can skip. They can save a whole lot of time on chapter 8 by conserving these crouch flies. Yeah, you can see Xinera pulling off the strat right here.
Pretty close grab from there too.
Yeah, it's a tricky grab because the view is kind of misleading. You have to sort of get a feel for it.
So check your
That's
cubes,
strange.
right?
That's really strange. Yeah. The cube is.
Check your cube. What is happening here?
That is really strange.
Wow.
I feel bad for him, man. I've never seen that happen before. Ooh. Some fighting words coming out in the chat right now. Threats to stop playing the greatest puzzle game of all time, Hook. If you guys don't have Hook, add a Tenger2B on any sort of social media, and he will buy you a free copy of Hook. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
So this next map coming up that Xinera's in, and actually they're both in right now, you can just sort of fly over this massive gap and save quite a bit of time. So both of them are going to be doing that right now. This map is an absolute pain if you don't have crouch fly. So.
And even if you do have crouch fly, the newer strat is much easier than the older strat.
Older strat, yeah. But the challenge mode strat for this map is done.
Very nice from Xinera there.
Disappointed.
Nice from Lizard as well.
Yeah, they both got it now, so they're really close. You know,
That's
obviously
another one of those situations where if the button is pressed for just a second, that door is going to open and it's not going to squish you.
Yep. The doors really don't try and kill you. I don't know if you can't even die in a door in single player, can you?
I don't think so.
If you can, I've never done it. They're much more forgiving in single player than they are in
I'm such a
cooperative.
moron. Why can't you solve a simple test?
But yeah, this is a really quick map because they're crouch fly and they lose it here. So this is where you're going to see them lose crouch fly, and they're going to do the next what is it? Next 2 maps without crouch fly, 3 maps if you count halfway through laser catapult.
They're gonna do portal cut though.
Yeah.
Oh,
It'll be interesting to see if they go for portal cut. They both
too much
should,
then. It
but
was the
it's
sound of
yeah,
bullets.
it's
Hey,
quick
just being
from
turned.
Lizard
So
Rockets
that's what I
here,
was doing.
and click from Xinera as well.
I think you
Oh,
missed the cube though.
yeah, that's really unfortunate. You can still go back and get it, but that was a chance for him to actually almost take a lead over Xinera. But oh wow, Xinera is 22 seconds behind. That doesn't sound right. Huh.
Is he 22 seconds? He's 22 seconds behind Lizard.
Yeah,
Huh.
that doesn't seem right because he had the
Wow.
game paused for a while at the beginning. So I don't know. That's really. Oh, he might have lost a little bit of time to RTA. Because if he's paused
Oh,
while
also,
switching
yeah.
off of RTA, then he didn't actually like stop his
So
timer.
Baster has now entered the chat, which means you all have to now hail to the bracket god. Because he's currently #1 in the standings on predictions here, and if Lizard does end up winning this, like man,
What an upset! I didn't even set up a bracket. I was too lazy. I didn't want to look into the runners. I just started played.
I set one up and I picked it randomly actually.
Oh no, the Lizard is actually the cube has fallen off the button.
It's gonna jump off again.
This cube likes to fall off the button. I think like I've been told that it's actually like not possible for the cube to walk once it's on a button, but that cube always finds a way. So you're seeing Xinera right now conserving crouch fly again.
It's crouch fly time again.
Yeah, so this is when they pick up the crouch fly again for this map, and I think it's just the next map, right? You just keep it through laser platform and then lose it.
Yeah, because you gotta lose it to get down out of the bridge.
Yeah, to prop catch. And then
And then
he'll
you
keep
go, and then you go to
propulsion
prop catch.
polarity until finale 3. So. But yeah.
And then depending on how people do in prop catch, we get to see if anyone gets an awkward elevator.
Yeah. But this is still a really close race. Finale maps are kind of hard to mess up on, but you still can mess up on them. So we can see if Lizard. I don't know. We might have to go back into Xinera's and subtract a little bit of real time if it's really close, because I don't think either of them are recording demos here.
No.
Yeah, Xinera's put himself in an uncomfortable place. He got really lucky there, but if you replace that portal, no, the cube won't fall up in that position. Oh, it does. Okay. It does. That's weird. I've never had that work.
So then there are 4 seconds ahead after laser catapult.
Yeah,
Pat,
but
can I ask where you're getting your numbers from here?
I think he's just subtracting the time from Lizard Rockets. I think he's just subtracting the skip, the Yeah, well, I think we might have to take off some from real time from Xinera because neither of the runners recorded demos. Yeah, see, that's what happens with Lizard Rockets. You saw where if you have a bad portal placement, the cube won't actually fall up correctly. There he goes. He's got it. But yeah, this map that Xinera's on right now, you just have to be able to look at Peabody really. And if you look at Peabody and you manage to place the funnel to your right.
Gotta go to that gate though. He might get awkward elevator. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it looks like he might get awkward elevator here. That's a shame because if you hit it at the right time, then you can activate some dialogue that makes the map go significantly faster. So.
So we're legally required to be very, very, very quiet during that.
All right. Well, that was a fun elevator ride.
Thank you.
It was very awkward,
Yes.
to be honest. And
Lizard Rocket's coming in as well.
he's
He
not
has
gonna get it. He's gonna get awkward elevator too. So
got it.
Sorry, my fault. Butterfingers. Only 3 more chambers to your big surprise.
it's not a truly awkward elevator because we don't have his audio, but
Yeah.
but you can see Xinera right now conserving the last crouch fly. We'll keep this crouch fly for the next like couple maps.
Mhm.
So he's going into the finale maps right now, and assuming he just keeps his crouch fly, it should be pretty simple from here. And then there's quite a bit of time save if you optimize the final boss battle. So we'll have to see if either of them does that. I would hope they would, but
Not sure what Lizard's
you never
doing.
know.
Okay. Okay.
It's a different
A
strat.
little bit of a boost there.
It's a different strat, but hey, we don't judge.
Cool. I like different strats.
Yeah, except when they're slower.
Mhm.
But yeah, Xinera going for the good strat here.
And
like
it
the
might
strat.
just be Fatman said the finales are going to be the deciders. I think that might be true, but it might also be up to like literally how fast they fly through the air.
Yeah, Xinera is getting a really good speed here.
17 seconds ahead Xinera is out of repulsion polarity.
Yeah, I think depending on how close this is, we might have to go back and subtract some time from Xinera's final time. Because of the RTA. But we'll see.
No, seriously, do come back. Please, come back.
Oh, he's going for slower strats here, Xinera. They're not significantly slower, but they are a bit slower, so. On Finale 2 here.
He's got a bit of a slow fall
If you
here.
go to the right of Wheatley, then it's actually quite a bit faster because you get straight to the door. There's a slight chance that you don't land. Yeah, and he sort of lands on the catwalk here, so he can gain a lot of speed and just skip this crusher. Oh no! Yeah, if you don't have enough speed there, the crusher will kill you. We'll see if Lizard Rocket's here. Yeah, he's going for the faster strats. And
He
he's
did
got
hit
them.
the railing, but
Yeah, it's slightly slower to hit the railing, but it still saves time over the slower strats, I believe. So we're gonna have to see here. He has a chance. This is where he actually.
this is where he might take over.
Yeah. I like to crouch off like right before I get to the corner there, and then you can gain all that speed really quickly. So yeah. Wow, this is close. This is crazy. What a fun game.
Xinera is gonna get on the stairs here, but also gonna go for the. He's on the pipe now.
Oh, this is an interesting. I've never
Level
seen this
geometry
setup before.
time.
I've never seen this setup before. I think he might have botched his.
No,
normal
I think
setup.
he screwed upstairs.
Yeah, I think he botched his normal setup. It's not a setup I've ever seen before, so this is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's what he was trying to do. Okay, so he's saved himself here. What you want to do is you want to get at the right height so that when you move under those stairs, it pushes you down. So he's got it now.
Lizard Rocket's getting that pipe, just gonna go as fast as he possibly can through that segment there.
That's really interesting. I'm not
Dead.
entirely sure. They're both kind of. Yeah. Wow. Well, Xinera's feeling real good right now because Lizard Rockets has messed it up worse, if not the same as.
Yeah, they didn't. I'm noticing Xinera didn't wait for the
the turrets to un-aggro. If you peep out, let the turrets try and aggro to you, and then sort of wait until they go into sleep mode. It's safer, but it's definitely not faster. So
I think Lizard just saw what Xinera did, or came up with the same idea.
Yeah, it's weird.
Really
I've never
depending
seen
on-
this strat.
Uh-huh.
You normally want to land on the catwalk in the map before, and sort of just ride it.
So Xinera in Finale 3, Lizard has just knocked himself into the pipe there.
Alright, this is really interesting. I think Xinera might have clutched this. It really does come down entirely to Finale 4 at this point.
And I think, actually, does Xinera do bomb flings?
My guess would be that Xinera does bomb flings. I don't know about Lizard Rockets, though. This is really weird. I don't like these strats.
Wow.
Yeah, he can't. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a shame.
Okay, and again, Xinera successfully getting that crouch fly off.
I don't see a comeback here unless he
Uh-huh.
does fast bombs and Xinera doesn't. But even then, that might not be enough time.
Well, that Xinera might get bad ending. You never know.
Even I don't know if there's enough time for
I don't
Lizard
think there
Rockets to
is.
save at this point. I think he's out. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, Xinera. But I trust that Xinera can pull this off. We'll have to see. Lizard Rockets finally going out. Should definitely make a quick save here. Has to not fall off the pipe again. But yeah, he's good. And Xinera is on his way up to the Wheatley fight. So he's going for fast turret as well. They're both going for fast. He's gonna die. Wow. That's rough. Hate to see it. Oh. Is Xinera stream lagging for you as well?
I'm getting some like quality drops, but
Yeah, it's bad.
no lag that I can see.
It shuddered for a little while. It stopped moving super smoothly. But yeah, this is a really. I don't know why they're going for these dangerous strats when they don't need to. If you aggro the turrets and let them unaggro, you can get that every time pretty much without.
Evil Bunny 90, no SLA means you're not laying, and that, to be completely concise,
I think
is
you cut out
save
there
load
real quick.
abuse. We talked about this earlier in the run, which means that you can make quick saves if you screw up a trick, if you don't do something properly, and if, but you can't, you know, there are some tricks that require you to like make quick saves and load them as fast as you possibly can.
There's saves that involve clipping out of the map, where if you just quick save and load, the game reloads you at a slightly altered spot every time you reload, and so you're able to abuse the game mechanics like that. And so we don't allow that, but we allow saving and loading for messing up a trick or something like that. But yeah, he's going for Bomb Preserve.
Yeah, welcome to the Portal 2 community, Evil Bunny.
Yeah. It's awesome. There's a whole lot more runs coming as well if you follow Speed Gaming, and if you're at all interested, feel free. I'm sure somebody can put in the Portal 2 speedrunning Discord. There's people over there all the time who are willing to answer any questions you might have. Very active help channel over there. So good to see new faces all the time. All right, yeah, it looks like Xinera. He's only doing the one bomb preserve, but it's still a bomb preserve. And he managed to get it, so I see this race being over, unless he manages to die on Wheatley fight here, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
I do it occasionally just because I'm not, you know, good at this game, but
oh, to the bombs, or all right, yeah. So he just needs to grab this last spear up here. Got it. Yeah, this is not a perfect Wheatley fight, but it was a pretty quick Wheatley fight from him. So assuming he gets, he's probably gonna get quick ending here. And what do I do when I shoot? Just shoot. Yeah. It looks like he doesn't actually know the
he doesn't know early moonshot, but
yeah, there's a way to, if you go into this last portal over the booby-trapped button, you're actually able to
so he did end up getting that ending here.
But this should be an open and shut game.
He did not get early moonshot.
Yeah, that's fine. Early moonshot saves a good restarting here is not what I would do. Okay, yeah. Xinera's just said in chat that he's finished, so the stream is obviously behind, but I think we'll have Fat Man doing the
I'm not sure what's happening on stream.
Stream is fine for me. Xinera's it looks like
it's just weird. 112, 26, 71 from Xinera and Lizard Rockets. We'll have to subtract 441, 13, I think is the time.
To see what his time is at. He also didn't do fast space grab.
race. Let go.
Yeah.
I'm still connected. I can pull myself in. I can still fix this.
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no.
Change your plans.
Hold on to me. Tighter.
I did it! Save!
Just missing the balls.
What was yeah. I'm really not sure what that was.
Oh yeah, he dropped the sphere. I should say core. I'm a bad Portal 2 player.
Uh-huh.
That was closer from both runners than I thought. Lizard
Yeah,
Rockets put
no.
on a pretty solid performance for a lot of the game, but both runners just unfortunately had trouble with different tricks here and there. So.
Again, yeah, and for a 25 seed difference, that was like way close.
Yeah, we should see if we can bring Xinera in here for a post game interview. I'm not sure entirely how to go about that. If we
I
have
got it.
Okay, you got it. Thank you.
So I've just invited him in the Discord server. Lizard Rocket's performing some nice surf while we're at it.
Yeah, of course, the runners have no obligation to do an interview if they're tired and don't want to do it, but we like to extend the offer in case they want to talk about their run.
Alright, Xinera will be in here real fast, so I'll get him the invite.
Awesome, cool.
If I can remember. I mean, alright. Can do that.
Yeah. Do we do it or do we get one of the speed gaming?
There's a button somewhere, but I don't want to press it, so I'm just gonna send it to Xinera individually.
Okay. Cool. Is he going for fast ending here? He did not get it. Alright.
I've just shouted to him.
And then we'll see if we can get Lizard Rockets in the stream maybe to talk about his run.
Nice custom moon. I like it.
Yeah, it's a neat moon.
It's
Both runners had a custom moon. I think Xinera had a Shrek's runner. Shrek's runner moon, and not entirely sure what Lizard Rockets is, but it's a nice one. Quality. Where as he grabs onto. Oh, welcome to Xinera.
So how was that for you? You
Hello? Oh wait, my headset died.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I mean,
We can hear you though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's fine now.
All right. Cool.
So how was that for you? How'd you feel about your run?
That was not very entertaining, and it was very rage-inducing.
Yeah, I could tell you were a little bit upset with the game at certain points, but it happened,
Yeah.
and you managed to still beat out Lizard Rockets pretty handedly there. So
Yeah, it was way closer than it should have been, though.
yeah, well you had a pretty good run there.
Yeah, I hit pretty good. I don't really know. I know he's pretty, or I know he's good at like be up and he make maps and that, but I don't really know his SS capability. So I was kind of going in blind. And as I said in chat earlier, I haven't played this game in a very long time, so I
shook the rust off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so you've just won this race. So the winner of this, I'm just gonna look at the bracket real fast. You are now going up against Kojo.
Yes, indeed.
How do you feel about that match?
I'm not sure. I think he has a similar time to me, if I'm not wrong, in SS. So I guess it's interesting. Like it depends if I practice or not. If I practice, it can be an interesting race since we will be pretty similar. But I don't know.
Hey guys, Lizard Rockets here.
Oh,
Really? Okay.
Hello.
So
how did you feel about your race, Lizard Rockets?
I wish I could have done better, but you know, being a
How
girl
much
makes it
have you-
really hard.
Yeah, how much have you practiced recently?
Not as much as I would like to.
Yeah, well, you put on a commendable performance there.
Well,
So,
thank you.
how did you feel about how close that race was?
I mean,
Whenever
it
you're
was
looking at
pretty
chat,
close. I mean, 7 minutes isn't that bad over like an hour and some.
And then
RNG was so bad. I mean, not a
keeping
whole
in
lot I
mind
could do.
again that that 7 minutes is minus 441. So that was actually if we
Yeah,
look at
it was a
that,
little closer than that.
that's
You
like
know,
a 113 or something.
yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty close.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
I
but
could have done better though.
it was a good
Mhm.
race. Can we
It's
can we
just
get
so
a
tough being a girl.
can we get both runners to shake hands real quick?
Virtually.
Shake hands.
Yeah,
Can
virtual.
we get some
handshake.
Portal 5 hype in the chat?
Yeah. Yeah, it is true. Morgoth is a girl as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, so let's see. We've had a good stream here. Anything else from either of the runners?
No, I'm gonna get back to
All right.
playing something else.
Just
other than
if we can get a quick Dane skip from everybody real quick, and then we'll all go about our days.
I won't say that.
All right,
Dane
that's-
skip!
Dane
Dane
skip.
skip! Dane skip! Dane skip!
Thank you.
Hook.
All right.
Um,
All right, and then so thank you guys for tuning into Speed Gaming 5. If you need any more information about the Portal 2 community, feel free to ask anybody in chat. We can all answer your questions. Make sure to follow all the Speed Gaming accounts. There's like 6 of them: Speed Gaming 2 through 6. Want to thank them for hosting this tournament. And anything else you got to say, Bitch Driven?
thanks for commentating with me. And as always, make sure to follow my Spotify, SoundCloud, BSSDRVN. And that's all. Thanks for watching.